I did not expect that to happen. Bron Breakker turning on Seth Rollins and the rest of the division joining him. That was a moment I was not going to bet on tonight. For a while watching this Raw, I was like, okay, this is going to be a really slow Raw episode. Nothing's going to happen. And then that ending hit and I'm like, damn, there's so much to talk about. And before we get into the full review of Raw, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm also going to be doing a video in a couple of hours where I talk about what does this mean for the rest of the division, for the future of this whole feud and for the future of the company as well. So if you want to see that, stay tuned. Starting out this Raw episode, we would actually have Seth Rollins opening the show. He would talk his usual stuff about how he's so happy he beat Cody Rhodes and everything. And even right in the beginning of this episode, it did kind of feel like there was something interesting going on. Like there was something interesting happening right now because something just felt off. But again, we'll get to that much later. After that intro, we would get Rusev confronting Penta backstage, saying that he is going to face the winner of tonight's bout, which that bout is going to be Penta versus Dirty Dom. And this was a big match, really big match for an opener. I didn't really expect it. And it would be a good match. There were some really good spots. Then Rusev would interfere with the slowest run ever known to man. Penta would interrupt him. Dom would take his belt using that opportunity. And he would also take the hammer from the Timekeeper's area. And he would use the belt as a distraction for the ref. And then use the hammer to win the match, which was really amazing, really fun stuff. Really good in-ring psychology, making it seem like it works. And just, again, really fun stuff. The crowd was really wild. The crowd in Australia is one of the best crowds in the world. That was such a great crowd. It wasn't only for Crown Jewel. It was a great crowd all throughout all the shows. Really great stuff. Asuka would then attack Kairi backstage for losing their match at Crown Jewel, telling her that she's going to face Rhea tonight because she's the one who lost them the match. Kairi would then reveal her bruise that Asuka left her, and Asuka still wouldn't care. Kairi would try to reason with her, and Asuka would just slap the shit out of her, and then we would get the match. Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane was another really good match. I'm really enjoying this story, especially with Kairi Sane. For me, she's the best part of the story, where she's trying to be this kind of, I guess the story reminds me of the Tribal Chief arc, the early Tribal Chief arc, where Kairi is kind of playing the role of Jey Uso, where she's trying to somehow fight against Asuka, but still trying to conform herself, trying to help Asuka win despite everything. And Asuka is really reminding me of the early Tribal Chief, where she would just do anything to anyone. She wouldn't care because she is the one who controls all. So this is kind of mirroring the Tribal Chief arc and Tribal Chief everything. Really fun stuff. Rhea Ripley would of course win. This is Australia, but she would get beat up after the match, and I'm not sure where this is going, but wherever it is going, I'm here for it. I'm really enjoying the storyline so far. Jay and Jimmy would then be arguing backstage, talking about their stuff, everything that happened on Crown Jewel, and how Roman Reigns doesn't matter anymore and stuff like that. And then we would get a decent match between Jimmy Uso and Bronson Reed. Nothing too crazy to speak of. Bronson Reed would actually win clean, which makes sense. He did pin Roman Reigns, so if he had to play dirty to win this one, I think everyone would be like, really? So yeah, this was really big stuff. Bronson Reed proving himself to be in the main event spot. Really great stuff. Bron Breakker would then come to congratulate Reed, and they would start the beatdown, but Jay would come in to help, although he isn't too happy about helping Jimmy again. Bayley and Lyra would then face off against the Judgment Day girls, Roxanne Perez and Raquel, and this was such a great match. I love seeing these four in the ring, especially the whole dynamic between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Really fun stuff. And Bayley's still really heavily playing on this Jekyll and Hyde thing she's just constantly suiting these personas, these characters, and I love to see it because you can clearly see it not just in promos, not just in talking, but in the ring, in her ring style. Everything just makes so much sense, and this time she would turn her character with Lyra slapping the shit out of her, and the wild persona would come out, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria would win the match. Really great stuff. I'm really excited to see where this is going. Is Bayley a face? Is she a heel? Because she's fighting like her heel persona most of the time, but then she's also aligned herself with Lyra, who is a face. So So I'm not really sure where this is going. Then we got to backstage, Seth standing there with Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and he's talking about how he's grateful for so much. Chris Van Vliet, listen up. Here are 3 things Seth Rollins is grateful for: the birth of his child, marrying his wife, and BMB being on top. He's really excited about them. He really loves them. He's feeling so great about what everyone is doing. And I'll just read to you what I wrote watching this, because I was watching this live. I feel a turn incoming soon. Feels too sudden, but who knows? At this point I was already like, okay, there's probably gonna be a turn happening, maybe at War Games. I didn't expect it to happen tonight because Seth was too happy. Seth was just too happy, and that just didn't make any sense. And also the whole build up to this match and build up to everything that's going on with the Vision, especially recently, it did kind of feel like, yeah, something is not right here, especially with Paul Heyman saying, I don't know what I'm going to do with you, Seth Rollins. And I mean, in the beginning of the show, Seth Rollins did kiss Paul Heyman, and he would say there's nothing wrong with that and everything. He did already start acting like a babyface at some point, I guess, a babyface. So yeah, this is really, really fun, but again, we'll talk about that later. Then during the ad break, I know most of you guys didn't see this, but Maxine Dupree would announce that she's going after the IC belt next week, and the crowd would start chanting, "You deserved it." I love this so much. I really hope Maxine, I don't think she should win the belt. I don't think she should win the belt, but I really hope she does something great that helps propel her into actually having matches all the time, into having an actual rivalry. Maybe move her over to SmackDown and help her with Julia stuff, because Julia doesn't have many opponents right now. I don't think Michin and BFAB are currently on that level. Really help Julia bring this to a next tier, and Maxine Dupree could be just that, because she's such a lovable baby face. Maybe not the best in the ring, but I think Julia could really help her bring the best out of her. AJ Styles would then be with Adam Pearce backstage talking about how great Crown Jewel was, which it was. Then Dirty Dom would come in, he would say that he's the only working champion in the company, which, I mean, he isn't. You have Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch, who I think are the other 2 really working champions right now, but still, he's a really, really workhorse champion. And AJ Styles would actually use this to get a tag team championship match with Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which I'm really excited for that match. I hope they do win the match, they do win the tag team championships, because that would be such a fun reign, and Finn Balor and JD McDonough are doing fuck all with their championships, so yeah. Stephanie Vaquer would then come out, and she's interrupted by Raquel and Roxanne, and it seems like Stephanie versus Roxanne is going to be her first feud with this Women's World Championship, which I'm, again, really excited about. Because Roxanne is going to be a great heel for Stephanie to work off of. It's going to help put Roxanne over more. It's going to help Stephanie build her own character in this championship role. I'm just really excited about everything that's happening right there. I just hope that this is the feud, because during the promo it was kind of like they were testing the water. Should this be? Should this not? We'll see, but we're setting it up anyways. Then we would get our main event, the #1 contendership match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Jey Uso, CM Punk, and LA Knight, which Punk would win after a great match, but he would then get the beatdown by the courtesy of the Vision. And Seth Rollins would be standing there, he would be happy, he would be loving life, until Bron Breakker spears him. In this moment, I was sitting down with my roommate. My roommate doesn't care about WWE. We were just drinking coffee, and I was watching WWE on the side. And I just jumped up. He was like, what's going on? Like, he didn't understand it. I tried to explain to him. But man, this was such a surprising moment. I do think it's pretty soon, but I think that's what makes it so great. We didn't expect it to happen. We were thinking about, like, just yesterday, there were reports coming out that Austin Theory is coming to join them. And now they're broken up. Like, what? Like, really, what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Vision continues from now on to still be a thing, because Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed are all kind of great together, and they could continue this storyline. They could continue the Vision as a faction, especially if they get another member, maybe even 2. But yeah, this was such a surprising moment. I'm going to talk about it much more in my next video, but yeah, what do you guys think of this moment? Was it too soon? Was it maybe not done right? Was it great? For me, it was such a great moment, really surprising, but made a lot of sense anyways, because they were building up to it, not just this show, but many shows beforehand, and I'm really excited about all of that. I can't wait to see where this goes. I have some thoughts, but again, we'll get to them in a later video. Thank you.